Okay, so this video is going to be introducing you to the idea of absolute value. Our goal for this video is to solve absolute value equations. Pretty simple. You got to be able to do that. Whenever we use that verb solve, that just means, hey, figure out what does x equal. And we're going to be figuring out what x equals with equations that involve absolute value. So a lot of people have this conception that absolute value just means positive. Absolute value of -3 is 3, so it's the absolute value of +3. So they just think it makes things positive. And that line of thinking works for a lot of things, but it's probably not the best way to think about absolute value. We want to start to think about absolute value as a distance from 0. Okay, so absolute value technically means the distance from 0 for a particular value. And this picture below actually probably highlights that the best. Oh, let me go back. Best way to think about absolute value, the distance from 0 for a particular value. The reason absolute value is always positive is because distance is always positive. You never say, oh, I traveled -10 miles to school today. Distance is always positive, and that is why absolute value is positive. And so this picture sort of highlights this idea. You can see that -3 is 3 units from 0. That's its distance from 0. +3 is 3 units from 0. So that is why the absolute value of -3 and the absolute value of +3 are the same thing. They are the same distance from 0. They are 3 units on the number line from 0. So that's why they're positive. Okay, so we're going to kick things up just a little bit here. I have a really simple equation. You can probably intuitively figure out the first one. It says solve the absolute value of x equals 5. In other words, by solve we mean figure out what does x equal. Well, most of you can probably say, oh, it equals -5 or 5 just by looking at it, but let's really understand what's going on here. What we're saying is that x, the stuff on the inside here, x is 5 units from 0, which if we go 5 in the positive direction, that puts us at a value of 5. So x could be here. However, we can go 5 units in this direction. If we go in the negative direction, that puts us at -5. And so x could be there. So when we go to write our solutions, we're going to say x is equal to -5 or x is equal to +5. Has two different answers. You can check yourself by plugging back into the equation. Absolute value of -5 is 5. Yep, that's true. And the absolute value of +5 is 5. That's true. Okay. Of course, they're not all going to stay so simple. Let's see, we have another example here. Things are definitely a little more complicated. The absolute value of 2x plus 3 equals 4. Let's first understand what this is saying. What this means is that 2x plus 3, it is 4 units from 0. We can be 4 units in this direction. Okay, so that means that 2x plus 3 could equal 4. Okay, 2x plus 3 is living here at 4. Or it could be 4 units in this direction, which puts us in -4. So 2x plus 3 could be living at -4. Now, this helps me solve. We're not done yet. We have to take these two different cases here. If 2x plus 3 is at -4, well, I can solve for that for x. Subtract 3. Okay, that gives me 7. And then divide by 2. So x equals -7/2. So that's one possibility. Or if 2x plus 3 is 4 units in the positive direction, so 2x plus 3 equals +4. Subtract 3, gives me 1. All right, so then divide by 2. So that gives me x is 1/2. So I have two solutions, -7/2 or 1/2. Okay, so they don't always have to be like completely opposite of one another, like in the first example. A lot of people will just memorize that, you take the stuff on the inside and you set it equal to -4 or +4. Or, negative this number, positive that number. But if you really understand the definition of absolute value, it should make sense. This stuff on the inside can be 4 units in the negative direction or 4 units in the positive direction. All right, let's do one more. 3x plus 5 equals 7. Again, let's understand what this is saying. This is saying that 3x plus 5 can be 7 units in the positive direction. Oh, you can't see what I'm writing. All right, sorry guys. You can be 7 units in the positive direction. Okay, so 3x plus 5 could, I like to say it lives up here at 7. Or it could be 7 units in the negative direction. So 3x plus 5 could equal -7. That's what absolute value means. You could be that much in the positive or that much in the negative direction from 0. That helps me set up my two cases. So subtract 5, divide by 3, so x could equal -4. That's one option, but if we live in the positive direction here, 3x plus 5 equals 7, so subtract 5 to the other side. That means 3x equals 2, divide by 3, x equals 2/3. So you have two solutions, -4 or 2/3. And there you go. All right. Remember that and you're going to know that you're doing these right if you've set up two different cases. Remember, you can live in the negative direction or in the positive direction. All right. That's it.